I am Adriana Savarall, Acting Public Health Communications Specialist, and I'm talking today with Mr. Lionel Michael, who is the Chief Environmental Health Officer. We are talking via Zoom because we are under a 24-hour mandatory curfew in the British Virgin Islands. And as we are approaching a reopening of internal reopening, starting with the soft curfew on April 20th, there are a few things that critical businesses who are allowed to open must do. So, Mr. Michael, tell us, first of all, thank you for agreeing to have this interview.
Well, thank you very much. I'm on the field right now, but yes, I'm very happy to be here to share some information with the general public.
Great. So with the bulletin coming out today that you all are starting rapid assessments of businesses, can you tell the public what the role of environmental health would be?
Yes, we are looking at carrying out rapid environmental health inspection assessment of the places, of the business places that will be opening on Sunday, Monday, and beyond. We are doing a rapid inspection of these places, and so we will be carrying out inspection of supermarkets, mini marts, groceries, grocery stores, other places that are in the various districts around the BVI. Each office, each district have, even before the curfew, officers assigned to them, and we will officers will go around in tours to various places to carry out these inspections, focusing on a couple of aspects. One has to do with the food safety itself.
Mm-hmm.
We want to check the cold storage of these places, make sure the temperatures for the fridges, for the refrigerators, for the freezers are working properly. Make sure that the storage of food is satisfactory. Check the general cleanliness and housekeeping. Look for social distancing evidence, marking on the floors of these business places, 6 feet apart. We're looking at the entrance, looking for hand hygiene, looking for hand hygiene equipment, hand sanitizers in particular, hand washing facilities, hand sinks at the entrance, hand sanitizers at the entrance, hand sanitizers possibly throughout the supermarket, so people can clean their hands as they shop, and evidence and supplies to disinfect and clean the carts. We will be observing and looking for evidence for clean and disinfection of the entire supermarket and the grocery stores and the other establishments. These are very important to prevent COVID-19 and to protect the customers who will shop in these places. It is very important that we do this.
So, Mr. Michael, what if a food establishment doesn't have a hand washing station before you get to enter the business? Is there anything that environmental health will do to offer assistance to these businesses?
Well, even before the curfew, we have been encouraging the business places to have these supplies and equipment at the entrance. Some have put in hand sinks, especially the major supermarkets have put in hand sinks.
Mm-hmm.
They have put in hand sanitizers. So even before the curfew, they have put them in, and we want to applaud them because I think they have taken a very proactive step and very responsible step in putting in these. We're not into going around and institute punitive measures. We want to recommend things to them. We want to make sure a lot of the things they have before the curfew, that they strengthen them and they improve them for the soft opening and to accommodate customers when they come to shop on Sunday and Monday and so on. Because as you're aware, they have shopping schedules for different parts of the territory, and we want them to be prepared to. That is why some of them are starting tomorrow to clean and disinfect, mop the floors, clean down the shelves, the counters, and so on, and cashier areas. Some of them are beefing up their hand sanitizers and so on, the hand sanitation stations, and the hand washing facilities. So we just check for that tomorrow, and if they don't have them, we will encourage them. We will recommend to them strongly to get them, to put them into, again, to join, to enhance and to strengthen the fight against COVID-19.
That's good. So, Mr. Michael, I have another question for you. The several businesses have been calling and they're a little bit worried or they're querying the word rapid. Is there a schedule that you all are going to follow as far as you conducting the assessments, or is it going to just be who's available? And if you don't get someone, if they're at their place of business, because as you know, tomorrow is also a day that they're allowed to clear their goods off the ports. So
Yes.
if a business owner may not be present at the time environmental health is there, will you all double back, or can that
Yes.
business call you to come back?
Well, if the owner is not present, we expect other members of their management team should be present, and we have contacted some of them already. And the interview we are doing now will help get the message out that we will be out tomorrow to do these inspections. We will also be out on Sunday because not everybody will be opening on Sunday, and some will be open on Monday, like the restaurants and so on. We already categorized the restaurants and put them into prioritize them, and we know how much we have a certain amount of restaurants and food business on a list of priority, and so we'll focus on those first, and then we will move to the other ones, and so on. So we think we will get you this quite satisfactorily, using the various social media avenues like what we're doing now, and the government web page, and the Facebook pages, and the various announcements that we are making. And we want to thank you in particular, and the government webpage and the various social media outlet and the radio station to bring this message to the people, to inform them that this rapid inspection will be taking place. And when we say rapid, as I said, my officers are trained to do different types of inspection. And in this case, rapid is one of them, and they know exactly what they're looking for to make sure we cover the key businesses that will be serving the public. As you know, restaurants will be open, but they're only dealing with delivery and takeout. And so we want to do, again, a rapid inspection of these. We have a list of the priority ones that we're going to focus on.
Okay, and that will be rapid inspections, all territory-wide,
yes,
every island,
yes,
every district, from Virgin Gorda,
yes.
Anegada,
Anegada, we already
Jocelyn Bay.
Yes, we reinforce our fleet. We get vehicles for the weekend from other departments like Inland Revenue assisting us in Virgin Gorda and on Tortola. So we will be moving around and carrying out these inspections. It's important that we do these rapid inspection because we want to also cut down the amount of time that our officers interface with people,
Right.
interface with business owners and so on. So the rapid inspection is a win-win situation, both for the officers and for the business owners and the customers. And so nobody will be shortchanged in this environmental health assessment because, as I said, the officers are equipped with the skills and the knowledge to carry out this particular inspection. We did it in Dorian after Dorian hit us last year, and we did that inspection, and we went quite well. And so we're repeating it again with this COVID-19.
What can persons who are patronizing any other businesses and or supermarkets should they look out for? Are there any quick signs to know that someone is actually following through with whatever protocols that are in place? Like, should persons be wearing gloves when they're handing you over your food? Or should grocery store, the cashiers, should we see them visibly wearing face masks? Because there is this, a kind of a debate on who should be wearing PPEs.
Yes.
Even when persons are shopping, can you then offer your advice on if customers who are going to start to go to these stores, should they then wear PPE if you recommend that? And what type of PPE?
I want to tell people that in this fight against COVID-19, they should do all in their power to protect themselves and their families and their friends and other members of the public. If they have to wear the PPE, which is the face mask, they should make sure that they wear it properly. One of the challenges in wearing the mask is not wearing it properly and taking it off properly and so on, and how you handle it. So we want to advise them on how to do it properly and how to ensure that they don't infect themselves or don't infect others. Yes, before the curfew, a lot of people in the supermarkets and all the supermarkets I've been to, We see people wearing masks, wearing the face mask. We see people wearing gloves and so on. And we want to encourage them that they still have to practice the same level of personal hygiene in wearing them as if they weren't wearing them. And so the mask and the gloves is not a defense and is not to be used as a substitute for not practicing the social distancing, in particular, not practicing the personal hygiene, the hand washing, and so on. So we want to encourage them to do that and to do all in their power to protect themselves. People who are shopping should avoid coming into close contact with people, with one another. And so the supermarkets may want to consider allowing a certain amount of people at a time. I know I've been to one supermarket and the manager had a mic and he was appealing to people. That is before the curfew. He was appealing to people to shop fast and and avoid intimate contact with one another and so on. So yes, we want to encourage people to do all these things. When people are shopping, we want people to look for expiry dates and the food items and so on. And tomorrow, that's one thing we will look for quickly. And we advise the managers and the owners and the proprietors and the managers and so on to avoid selling goods. We're looking for goods that are close to the date, past the date, and so on. Because we don't want them to be offering food for sale that past the expiry date.
Right.
Or past use by date.
Okay. So I think we covered everything. I know I had one more question. Do you see this, my final one, do you see these procedures, how long do you see these procedures being a part of your assessments? And will this then become a new norm for businesses to implement in order to pass inspections?
These procedures should continue throughout. Whether we have COVID-19 or not, we should be washing our hands, we should be practicing hand hygiene, we should be practicing social distancing, we should be covering our cough, we should be staying away from sick people, we should be protecting the territory from all infectious diseases, and so on. And so, also apart from the business places, people in the homes, we want them to observe the remaining days of the curfew.
Right. Let's talk about that. That person
don't have no party in your apartments. Don't come together. Don't have no gathering and so on when police not looking. So we want people to observe the remaining days of the curfew. I think we have done very well, and we want to continue. Right? So we want to appeal to people to observe the curfew, to observe the 24 hours curfew, and when the other curfew come around, to observe it and to continue to protect the BVI, because we're into suppression of the virus in the BVI. We want to suppress it so that it would not infect nobody. Okay.
So that's a wrap. We just wanted to get those messages out to the public and to the businesses. I thank you so much, Mr. Michael, for taking time out of your busy schedule and doing this really quickly. You know, everything is progressing really fast sometimes, and we don't really have the time to stop, or sometimes we don't take the time to stop. And just elaborate a little bit more on what we expect for everyone to do to stop the spread and suppress COVID-19 worldwide, and especially in the BVI, right?
In the BVI.
Thank you again for joining me.
And thank you very much for contacting me and having me on this program. And I hope that the people will comply and again, protect us from this COVID-19. Thank you very much.
Follow-up interview. Stay safe. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.